Good evening, YouTube. It is 8:15 at night, something like that. So you'll get me at all different times talking with you on here. Who knows? Okay, so I wanted to continue on with my beginners in the occult witchcraft kind of advice thing. So this is part 3. So I have a couple of things I want to talk to you about in this video. And then there's one I want to talk to you about in the next video that is its own thing, that is going to involve some stories. So, let's go. Number 1 here, let's see, tools. I don't think I touched on this very much, but this I would think goes hand in hand with the stress over initiation. I have to have everything that I need, all the fancy trimmings right away to be considered a witch. I'm going to tell you that's not true whatsoever. You don't have to have all the fancy stuff. You don't have to get all of the stuff at once. You don't have to immediately have like an athame or a wand or mortar and pestle, mine's across the room, and stuff like that. You don't have to have those right away. You can use whatever you can find to substitute as what you need. And the spirits are not going to judge you for that. In certain works, like ceremonial magic, there are certain things that are needed. From what I've seen, a lot of times it's usually like herbs and certain substances and maybe certain tools. I don't know. My approach to magic is very, it's me, so it works for me. So I'm not very much by the book. We'll say that much. Because I don't like following scripts generally. If I can get away with not following scripts because it feels more personal to me, it flows better. But that's just me. Anyway, so you don't have to have all the trimmings. So just because you don't have a fancy selenite wand or a fancy wand or a fancy athame, or the nicest mortar and pestle that grinds everything to a fine powder in the quickest amount of time, that doesn't mean the spirits aren't going to want to talk to you. That means they're not going to want to interact with you. That doesn't mean that at all. It's not like, oh, they get the coolest things on the block, so that's the cool kid. I want to go work with them. It doesn't work. I promise. It doesn't work like that. They don't care. Even when you get into some high-level spirits, like gods, goddesses, and demons, angels, like some of them, they care that you're doing the stuff, but if you have to work around it, generally they will not care. I know some care a little bit more than others, but more beginner-friendly spirits tend not to care. And they tend not to care if you fumble over your words or you do something a little bit weird. As long as you're being respectful and you're intent and you're honest, you're trying, that's what they want. You're fine. I cannot stress the respectful part enough. I promise I cannot stress that enough. Please do not approach any spirit with disrespect or I'm going to order you to do this or else. Like, really? The chances are they're gonna look at you like, oh, excuse me, really? Is that what you're gonna do? Oh, wow, I'd like to see you try, and then put you in your place. Some entities won't care and just leave. Some will screw you up. So, respect is everything, really. Respect and attention. So, also, I want to go right into this, is your astral senses here. Unless you were, unless you were really like born with a lot of things awake already, like you're born with your third eye open or your third eye like half open or whatever else, chances are you're not going to be as in tuned as some other people. Now, I'm guilty of this. It's hard not to feel intimidated by others that have all these really in-depth experiences. They can see their deity or their spirit manifesting right in front of them. They can hear them like I'm talking to you right now. All sorts of stuff. There are many ways to communicate with spirits that don't involve having to hear them or see them or whatever else. You don't have to fret. It is not a requirement that you have to be able to do that right away. Be patient with yourself. Open yourself up by continuously trying to work with the spirits. Evocations, meditation is the big one here. Meditation and tending to your chakras. And I'm probably going to make a video on chakras. So stay tuned. But don't rush yourself. Don't feel like you have to be perfect. I struggled with that, and every once in a while I still get a little frustrated with myself, because I will be honest, I have anxiety problems sometimes. So that keys into it, and I think I'm going to do a video on mental illness in the occult, because I have some feelings on that from different experiences I've had with people, my own experiences and everything, and an air of caution for people, because I don't want you getting in over your head. So I'll probably talk more about the idea of opening that up in the chakra video and other things like that later. So let's go back to the list. We have nature next. Connecting with nature. And don't worry, if you can't get out into the woods, say you live like right smack dab in the middle of the city, and you have no way of getting to the woods, you're fine. You don't have to worry about it. I mean, it would be amazing if you could at some point to try, take a drive when you have a day off or something, out and go hiking or something. But if you can't do that, don't worry about it. All I want you to do is go outside, feel a breeze. If it's warm and you're not going to get sick or step on something sharp, try barefoot. Try going barefoot. Feel the dirt. Feel the air. Be careful with this, but at your own caution, go for a walk in the rain. Feel the water. I will tell you that a natural shower is the best kind of shower. I don't mean a literal shower with soap. Please don't be that person. Unless you're gonna not be naked or something. I don't want you to get arrested. Please don't get arrested. Don't show them this video and tell them I told you to do that either. So no. But take some time to feel the elements. Feel nature. Open yourself up to the moon and the sun, the planets and the stars. Feel that natural existence of the universe and open yourself up to those spirits. The moon is a very important part of my practice. Interestingly enough, I work with the moon a lot, but most of the spirits that I work with are solar in nature. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But, so open yourself up. Go introduce yourself to all of this. I am here. I am ready. Let's do this together. The moon is a great place to start. It's where I started. One of the first things you could do to interact with the moon is, first learn the moon phases. Keep track of the moon phases. And that can help you practice. I might talk about that in another video. I'm getting all sorts of ideas. Thank you. Anyway, you can go and see what moon phase it is and tune into that energy. The full moon is a very powerful time of the lunar cycle. And it is great for full powered workings, meditations, all sorts of things. So I always like to do a lot of stuff that night. And one thing you can do that's very simple is you can make full moon water. Probably would see this a lot of places, but if you get some water, I would prefer filtered Some people use distilled. I can't really get my hands on distilled water all the time here, so I do filtered usually. And I put out a couple of clear gallons of water out on my deck where the moon will be shining upon it. And I ask her to bless the waters for this month or for this cycle, to give me her embrace and protection, love and power into this water. And she will charge all of it, and you can use it until the next full moon in all sorts of things. And it's beautiful. Like, if you need sacred water or charged water, that's great water to use, trust me. I like to use it in cleansing baths too. But so there's a lot of things you can do in the means of nature as well, besides walking in the woods, grounding with your shoes off if you can walk barefoot, just being there, feeling the breeze, feeling the sun, the heat of the sun on your skin, and the kiss of the moonlight on your face when you're out that night. Take a moment to enjoy all of these things that the universe has to offer, these natural things. See what feels the best to you. Find your little niche in all of this. I'd also maybe experiment with your elements that you are most balanced with, and say your zodiac sign or your sun sign. I'm a Gemini myself, so I'm an air sign. I love the wind. I do, but I have a very big affinity to fire as well. Air feeds fire. So explore with that. See what feels the best to you, and that's where your power will lie. That can also help you in figuring out what kind of spells you should do that will earn you the best results, and where you can start practicing first. Another thing I want to talk about, I wanted to keep this about 15 or so minutes, quickly, is ancestors and other kinds of spirits. A lot of people like to have an ancestral altar that they tend at least once a week. I am not in a position to have an ancestral altar right now with where I live, but I do give thanks to them at times, and I do revere them and honor them. Your ancestors can be a great place to start. In a lot of circles, like in hoodoo, in voodoo, and things like that, they are very stressed. And things like that. Honor your ancestors, those that came before you. And those are good spirits to work with first, because they have your best interest at heart, because they're family to you, and they want to see you succeed, but also it gets you known in the spirit world. Now, for me, I had other connections in the spirit world initially, and other things like that, so I'm all over the place. But I would suggest ancestors would be a nice place to start. And if you're concerned with picking a deity or anything, you don't have to. For the first 6 months of my practice, I had no deity. Oh, actually, it was more like first 7-8 months of my practice. I had no deity. I worked with no spirit directly. I worked with the feminine and masculine energy. And kind of an out there thing where it's like, okay, if you're like a spirit guide of mine, or someone who wants to jump in for only positive reason to help, only to help, then you're welcome. But I would work with those types of energies, and the moon, the sun, stuff like that, planets. And you don't have to work with a specific entity or anything if you don't want to, or you don't feel drawn to any. They will come to you. Like, say if you're more Wiccan and you believe in the god and the goddess, don't stress over finding your god and goddess immediately. And you can change deities at any point in your practice. I mean, there is no rule for this, really. And I always keep it in mind to honor both sides of things, to keep balanced. I don't really understand practices that don't, or ones that hate the other sex. I don't get that really myself, but all right. But so don't stress over that. you can do witchcraft just fine without working with any directly named spirits. Chances are people that are around you or ancestors, spirit guides will be helping you anyway. But make sure to give thanks to them. Burn a candle for them. Like a white candle is nice. For me, I like black, but a white candle is really nice for stuff like that, especially for ancestors. And just burn that candle with the intention of saying thank you. Thank you to all that have helped me. I appreciate you. Maybe leave out like some wine or food or whatever. Whatever feels right to you, but a candle should be fine. But okay, I'm going to make another video concerning things about your path, your own path. And this will yield some stories. So stay tuned if you wish. I will return shortly to record this. I'm going to record these consecutively, so if I look the same. Yeah, I like to do things in clusters here. So the last 3 videos, they were all done at once. But, okay. So, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like the stuff. And check out the links in the description below. And, yeah, so, many blessings to all of you. Blessed be, Ashe, Ave, and all that other stuff, depending on what your practice is. And, good day to you.